Hello and welcome to the Kilowatt Half Hour, a podcast about the world of EVs brought to you by the team at Electrifying.com.
This week we are following up on Ginny's podcast of last week about Goodwood with a few little bits that Batch and I also saw that we were really impressed to see at Goodwood because it was such a busy show. We're also going to be talking about VW's woes and pay per mile tax, so a bit of doom and gloom there. But in brighter things, also the DS number 7, Corsa GSE and lots of other stuff. And we will, of course, also be looking at your comments and answering your questions. So, Batch, it's just you and me this week. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It feels quite strange as you and I doing this, but it's like everybody's just left a sinking ship, isn't it? But
No, it's like, I wouldn't put it quite that way, but I mean, it's so busy. It's just, I know we always say this, we're so busy, but it is like herding cats this week at Electrifying. It's literally like trying to pin down more than 2 people at any one time.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. And Ginny is forefront of that because she's off out driving. Well, it's a bit of a sneak preview. So she's actually been out driving the Range Rover Sport Electric prototype, among other things as well. So that's something to look forward to that we'll chat about in the next podcast, and that kind of thing. So yeah, so there's just a lot going on. But I think what have you been driving, Batch? Because I know you've been busy too. I know you only got back from Yorkshire yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, and the reason why I was in Yorkshire, I wasn't on holiday. I was driving the new Vauxhall Corsa GSE. It is strictly embargoed. I mean, I think it's the embargo lifts in September or something. So I have to be very, very careful what I say. But it was a good launch. It was based around Croft Circuit, which gives you an idea of what this car is kind of like. It's an electric hot hatchback that's trying to convince hot hatchback fans that electric is great, and the future of the performance little small car is safe with it going electric. So yeah, it's interesting car. You can see all the pictures and all the details on electrifying.com, but I really can't say anything about it. I can't even say whether I like it or not because I have signed so many pieces of paperwork to to shut me up, basically. But yeah.
We live in a world of embargoes now, don't we? That's the problem. It's always kind of like, well, I've done that, but I can only talk about that I can only talk about the upper right-hand corner of the screen because everything else is embargoed, sort of thing. It's a crazy, isn't it? It seems to be getting harder and harder to sort of work all that stuff out. But I'm excited to see what that car's like. And as Batch said, there is actually a video. There's a walk-around video that Lucas did on the GSE, which is really good. So go and check out all the details and keep watching because there's going to be a drive of that in a few weeks when the aforementioned embargo lifts.
Yeah, and a video.
In the meantime,
I filmed a video as well, so you'll be able to see firsthand what it's like. But in the meantime, go and check Lucas's walk around video.
Definitely. Have you been driving anything else, or was that it for the last few days?
That has been it for the past few days, and what with Goodwood, which I know we will move on to. It's been an incredibly busy time for Team Electrifying. So
I've been out just before Goodwood. Actually, I went out and drove the DS number 7. Now I don't know what you think of this car, Batch. I'm quite intrigued by it because. So it's a very long range car. You're talking about 460 miles of range in this car. And let's not forget, I mean, we've all gone absolutely, we're over the moon with the BMW iX3. It's the electrifying car of the year because it's got a 500 mile range, the EX60 with 503 miles. So we've all gone like, oh my God, 500 miles of range. But actually, DS has been very close to 500 miles with the DS number 8, which is very quirky. And the DS number 7 is going to be a lot more... it's going to reach a bigger audience because it's a sort of mid-sized family SUV, so it's the big selling class. It's still got 460 miles of range, which let's not forget that's pretty much the same range as the BMW iX3 when it's got bigger wheels on it. So there is that. I rather like it. I actually think this is the best DS. I think it's really cool in the sort of design details. There's a little YouTube short out there of me driving the car, and you can also see Nikki Shields did a brilliant walk-around video where you can really look at all the details in the car and stuff. It's very intriguing. I actually think they've improved the ride. The range is good, but so get this, priced from sort of 50,000 to well over 60,000.
Oh my word.
Oh,
Yes,
ouch.
that is punching, isn't it? So let's be clear, Vicky. Just let's be clear. So does the DS number 7 sit below iX3 then? Because DS want to think of themselves as a BMW and Mercedes rival, don't they?
Now, DS would have you believe that it sits below the iX3. DS will tell you that it's a rival for the iX1 and like the
Right.
Audi Q4 e-tron.
Yeah.
But that is priced against the BMW iX3, whether you like it or not. And it's not
Yes.
much smaller than an iX3, it's much the same size. So I think this is DS marketing trying desperately not to highlight the fact that this is very much a BMW iX3 rival.
Mm,
And let's not forget EX60 is a matter of weeks away as well in
yeah.
the UK. And we've obviously, Ginny's already driven that, and that sounds like it's really, really good. So I think this is a classic case of DS being, it's a very compelling car, it's very quirky, it's very cool. But I think the monthly finance has to be quite good. It has to be substantially cheaper than a BMW iX3 or an EX60 if it's going to sell in numbers, which I hope it does. I do wish DS the best because it's an interesting brand. The cars are cool. They've got some interesting ideas, So I actually genuinely like the car. I just think it's probably about £5,000 to £8,000 too expensive. But there we go.
Why
So
do they
that's
do it
DS
to
number
them?
7.
Why do they do it to themselves? I'm sure I haven't driven it, and I'm sure it'll be great. But the pricing immediately puts me off, and I'm sure it'll put lots of other people off as well. And that's always been a problem because the original DS7, that was kind of the first proper DS, wasn't it? I think before then the 3 and the 4
Yeah.
they were rebadged Citroens, weren't they? So the 7 has always been DS's most important car, and you would think that they would price it well to try and get people into the car, and yet from what you've just said, they haven't done that. So,
No, I mean, as ever, they've actually made a very quite decent and quite compelling car. And they will point out that spec for spec, in terms of the equipment you're getting a lot more car than you get for the BMW iX3 or EX60. But that's all well and good. But as you say, I think the problem is that the headline numbers with the list prices and this kind of thing, I do think they're gonna struggle. And as you say, it's getting people through the doors to look at the car, isn't it, and to really do the maths. But it always comes down to monthlies. Don't forget, this is also going to be a popular fleet. Well, fleet buyers account for a lot of the buyers.
yeah.
So there's that too. So in fact, I've had a bit of a Stellantis kind of love in the last couple of weeks because I've also had a quick go in a Fiat Grande Panda, the little base Fiat Grande Panda pop on the steel wheels, which I think is just gorgeous. I love it so much. Little white wheel, oh my god, I want it so much. I love it. I just think it's a genius design, the Grande Panda. Really, really good job from Fiat there. And I had a quick go in the Abarth 600e, which I really enjoyed. That is another. I think that's a bit of an under there.
Yeah, interesting, because I drove the Bath last year, and it is effectively same platform, same motors as the Corsa GSE. It's just the Abarth, I think, unfortunately, it's the same situation with the 500e as well. It's kind of forgotten about, isn't it? And you don't see many of them on the road. And when you check out the leasing deals, recently the Bath 600e has been absolutely bargain basement. And I think that's probably in an effort to say to people, hey, we were one of the first to build an electric kind of hot hatch SUV kind of thing. So, yeah, interesting.
Agreed. I mean, it's it's not. I suppose it's like not dissimilar to DS to an extent, is it? But again, I've got a lot of love for the Abarth brand. I think the car looks really cool. It's actually surprisingly practical, and it drives. It's absolutely brilliant. It's got the front end on it. It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
It really does handle brilliantly. So I've got a lot of time for it. But the problem is, you sort of stack it up against an Alpine A290, don't you? And you go, I don't know. Is this maybe this is a bit tricky. So I don't know, but yeah, if you could get the right lease deal on it, I absolutely would, because it's a brilliant thing.
Yeah.
Right. Shall we move on to some news? What do you want to do, Batch? Shall we talk about our Goodwood highlights first, and then we'll go on to the slight doom and gloom stuff about Paper Mile and the VW stuff?
Yes.
What was your highlight of Goodwood? Can I just say, well done so much on your commentary at Goodwood. It was absolutely brilliant. I did hear you, and it was absolutely brilliant. You were there all weekend, and I think you were a real highlight. So good job, because it's tough doing that kind of commentary. Did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed it, and it is tough because if anybody's gone to Goodwood Festival of Speed, it's so tightly packed, and if something goes wrong, there's a red flag, there may be some debris on the track, or a car is broken down, or whatever. They throw a red flag, and it can take forever to lift that. And so I learned the new art of filling, basically. I mean, me and my other commentators, Ben Edwards and James Hayden, we were having to fill for half an hour, and I've never had to do that before. So I've learned the new art of talking complete rubbish, basically, more so than I do usually.
I think you're pretty good at that anyway. Still having a career in that for 12 years.
But that is very kind of you. But yeah, it was a very interesting show, wasn't it? I mean, I think this year, more than any other show, the number of new car launches was off the scale. And for me, the highlight was Mercedes-Benz, actually. I mean, I just thought they properly treated Goodwood as a global event. And they had the AMG GT four-door just smoking its tyres everywhere. But then, of course, they revealed the CLA, didn't they? And it was a bit of a surprise to me. I think it was a bit of a surprise to lots of people. Yeah, we kind of knew it was going to be there. But the showmanship that they did was just extraordinary. And, of course, it was a Duke of Richmond and Kimi Antonelli, of course, Mercedes AMG F1 driver who's leading the championship at the moment. They were the ones who whipped the covers off it. And it just entertained the crowds all weekend, massive smoky burnouts, and it was just a joy to talk about on the microphone. So for me, that was my electric car highlight.
Well, actually, that leads on nicely. So I had a really funny moment. I was actually at the press reveal of the CLA 45 because I wanted to cover it, very traditional journalistic. I wanted some photos of the car being revealed. I was just there with my phone in, nearly 40 degrees heat with a load of other people. And the thing is, I will front up with you. I don't really follow Formula One that closely. I don't mind it I like the spectacle of it, but I don't follow it very closely. And when I got there and found hordes of people in front of me trying to get because Kimi Antonelli was showing the car, and I was about 20 people deep at the stand with my little iPhone just going, can I get a picture of the car, please? And everyone's there with their hands, Kimi, we love you, Kimi! And I just said, I just want a picture of the car. I sent some really amusing photos back to our news editor, Sam, going, well, this is a picture of the CLA reveal. And it's literally, you can just see the top of the roof and nothing else. Just a tiny Italian man in this sea of people going, my mum loves you, Kimi, and all of that stuff. And I was like, this is impossible. I just want a picture of the car. This is insane.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Your Grace and Kimi. Please, could you just get off the stand? I just want to take a photo of the car. Yes.
Get out of the way. I just need a picture of the car. And can you take your 300 fans with you as well, please?
Yeah.
This is important.
Brilliant.
We need reporting. So I was like, well, this is. And then I had to run off and do the MG Go concept, which we chatted about on the previous pod, or Ginny did, I know, but just that was my highlight. It's a great little thing. We'll come back to that in a bit, actually, because we've got some comments on the MG Go. And I know that as an MG owner yourself, Batch, you probably want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So I think, Mercedes also one of my highlights. And actually, I came here on the Sunday. I sat and I watched the shootout on the hill, and I always do, and it's great fun. And watching those cars go up there, and when that Mustang set that time, watching it go up that hill, outrageous, absolutely outrageous.
I know.
I was in the Formula E car just because it sounded brilliant. I thought going up that hill, the sound it made was great. I thought it was really, really interesting actually watching that. So I do enjoy the shootout, but that Mustang, just watching it, it reminded me of Le Mans when you see them go around the Porsche curves and they're just see the downforce. You can, it's like you can see the downforce on it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to move on to some slightly less entertaining news. Right. News batch. So we have feedback from the British government. You'll be pleased to know about the proposed pay-per tax. in 2028. So effectively, obviously, this was obviously out for. So they had feedback on the whole kind of idea of introducing this 3p per mile pay per mile tax. EVED is the official title of it. It is due to be introduced in 2028. And effectively, what has happened is they've had lots of feedback from lots of important people, and then they've gone, well, we're doing it anyway. So that's basically the deal. So currently, the plan is still that they are forging ahead with pay per mile from 2028. It will still be 1.5p per mile for plug-in hybrid EVs. There are a few changes. So originally they were talking about you having to take even if it was a new car, you'd have to take it to an MOT station every year to get the mileage checked. So they could know how much mileage you were doing in order to track your tax due. They've said that actually now they won't need to do that for new cars, and it will only be officially checked after the first 3 years. So I suppose that is some very small mercy, but you will have to estimate your mileage and pay in advance. But, bless them, they're so generous. The government has said that you're allowed to top up your tax payments in advance if you'd like to, if you think you're doing too much mileage than you said. So I thought that was very generous of them that they've included that in the whole post-consultation confirmation here. There is also, it's a proposal at the moment, so it's not 100% confirmed, but there is also the idea that you can optionally choose to have your mileage tracked using the 4G, 5G connection in your car, so it delivers automatic updates. I was reading this book by George Orwell the other day. Don't know why that comes to mind, but I thought I'd mention that. I think it's called 1984.
Is this literary hour now? Have I stumbled on another podcast?
I was thinking about this story, and that popped into my mind. Let's move on. Anyway, look, I think we'll carry on. So the other thing is obviously, inevitably, this EVED tax is also going to be linked to the consumer price index. So it's going to be linked to inflation. So what the government is saying, it will go up in line with all other taxes and all that stuff, which was always going to be the way. Do you know what? I sort of read through all of this, and I've thought about it for the last day or so, and I've been, we do know that EVs will have to, we will have to pay more road tax. It's always going to be the way. Yeah. But the problem is, it is such mixed messages. There's a helicopter. If you can hear the helicopter in the background, they found me because I'm complaining about the government. So they've tracked me. If I disappear, you know what's happened.
So I'll carry on. I'll carry on. I've learnt the art of filling anyway, so it's fine. Yes.
Over my cabin. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, I've been thinking about it. What we do know, so we did all the numbers on this. You can find them on the website. It is still cheaper to buy an EV and run an EV, even post the pay per mile tax at 3p per mile. We know that. Even on a sort of an average efficient EV, based on sort of average efficiency. But what I think this really does is I think it further disincentivizes electric cars for anybody who can't charge at home, because that saving is chiefly in using off-peak EV tariffs, which is great if you can charge at home, like you and I can, Batch, that's brilliant. But what about all these people? We want the EV transition to work for everybody, and we've been saying this and we've been campaigning about it. They've got to change this for people who can't charge at home, because at that point, what is the incentive in going to an EV? Yeah. Right? I know there's environmental benefits and they're lovely to drive, and I hope that people still consider it, but I would be the first person to say that, frankly, it's, it really is quite hard to make that decision, isn't it?
Well, it has to be convenient. It has to be convenient. That's the most important thing here. Yeah.
So it does frustrate me. It's such mixed messaging from the government, because we're still we've still got the plug-in car grant running on new EVs. So you've got up to £3,750 off a new EV, depending on where it's built. And I realise that that's obviously promoting kind of more locally built EVs, which I'm all in favour of. That's great. So we've got the government handing out, sort of incentivising on one hand, but then at the same time announcing that in not very long, a few years, they're going to start introducing this pay per mile tax, which doesn't only it just confuses matters, doesn't it? If you've not owned an EV before, you don't know what the actual real, I've driven an EV for years and years. It's been I've been in EVs since 2019. I've basically done nearly all my mileage in EVs. And, when I do have a petrol or a diesel car or whatever to drive, one of the big things that crosses my mind is that it's just going to cost me so much more money. I could charge up at home and it's going to cost me £3 for 200 miles or more of range. Or I could, and so I'm used to that. If you've not had an EV before, those benefits aren't as obvious. And like I said, if you can't charge at home, then it really is a tricky decision, isn't it? So it does frustrate me. I don't think we're at a point where they should be introducing this. I can
No,
understand that it might have come in once. I think they're years too soon, basically, is what
yeah.
I'm thinking. And they need to be clearer on this messaging to the industry and to consumers. So it just makes no sense to me.
No, I
There
think
you go. That's
just my small view on it. I feel as though this kind of policy. I know it's been in the news lately, hence why we've reported on it. But I feel as though this policy it's fizzling out a little bit, and the momentum is kind of is being lost on it. And I wouldn't be surprised. You know, we're on the verge of having a new prime minister. He was going to bring in his own team, and all of these existing policies, you know, brought in and proposals brought in under the previous chancellor, and we presume the previous chancellor. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a renewed focus on a lot of these proposals, not just EVD, but you know, everything. And there'll be some tweaks because it had a very negative reaction, EVD, and I would imagine the next prime minister would be keen to try and curry a bit of favour from everybody, and some of that will be changing things, but possibly like EVD, the electric car mandate, the ZEV mandate, various things like that. So I think I would expect that there's going to be a few changes on the horizon.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, well,
more
moving on
doom
to
and
much
gloom.
cheerier. Yeah, I was going to say, what do we know about Volkswagen at the moment then?
Well, it's not in a very good way, Volkswagen, at all. I mean, this week there was news that Volkswagen is considering a big restructure, and you know, the thing that I think needs a bit of explanation is, you know, the CEO can't just come up with a plan and action it. You know, the Volkswagen Group, it's got a board. You know, that's not unlike most companies, but you know, the board have to sign off on anything that fundamentally changes the company, and but the board has rejected this plan from the CEO, which is to do you know, cut jobs, you know, up to 50,000 in Germany before 2030, 100,000 in the longer term, and that would inevitably mean the closure of factories in Germany, possibly up to 4. So it's a huge thing, this, but the board has rejected it in the last week or so. And we are not entirely sure what's going to happen. I mean, this is a moving situation. It could well be that the situation has changed and developed by the time this podcast has gone out. But Volkswagen is slightly well, a bit sick at the moment, and it's not looking very good at all. I mean, personally, I think Volkswagen's situation, so they are losing a lot of money at the moment. Their profits have fallen sharply in recent years. In 2023, it made an operating profit of 19.3 billion pounds. This dropped to 22.6 billion euros in 2023. This dropped to 19.1 billion in 2024, and then just 8.9 billion last year. So it is in a dire situation in terms of operating profit. Personally, I just think VW's problems are kind of symptomatic of the wider industry's challenges. You know, all of the European car industry is fierce competition from China, from the Chinese manufacturers. There's weak European demand across the board at the moment. Particularly in Germany, there are high labour costs and energy costs. And of course, we are still feeling the effects of US tariffs. And there is no sign of that kind of going away. So, you know, the situation at Volkswagen is being felt by lots and lots of brands at the moment. But of course, because VW is so big and so powerful, they are really feeling the effect of all of this.
Yeah, it's really tricky, isn't it? I think Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting that Volkswagen's talking about sort of killing off a lot of its models. It's sort of talk.
Mm,
There've been sort of a few numbers, haven't it? So dropping sort of 50% of its models and this kind of thing. If I'm honest, I mean, this is obviously not a good news story at all, and I don't like to see a brand like this or any brand struggling. But I don't think that's a bad idea. I do wonder why sometimes think about the costs of re re-engineering and reshelling and redesigning, marketing, all of these kind of different models that are sort of a niche within a niche. And it's I mean, how many compact SUVs does the Volkswagen brand rather than Volkswagen Group, how many does it make? Is it really necessary to have so
yeah.
many different cars? So I do wonder whether I hate to sort of I look at Tesla and there's a lot that you could say isn't right about Tesla, but they've had effectively two core models, a saloon and an SUV for how
Yeah.
many years now? And they are routinely still, a very successful company that's
Yeah.
selling, substantially one of the best-selling EV manufacturers in the world. And you just look at it and you go, well, do we really need a million different kind of sort of swoopy roofed SUVs and boxier SUVs and smaller SUVs and
Well,
this kind of that maybe that's not a bad thing to actually kind of I would say sort of streamline it a bit and
I
focus a bit more on getting models right and that kind of thing.
I totally agree. And the irony is Volkswagen have been, they pretty much not they didn't invent it, but they found probably the biggest success with platform sharing in the 90s, and having one platform for numerous cars. And yet they found themselves now in a situation where they've got so many models. And it's not just Europe. Of course, they've got a totally different production facility and model range in China. It's the same in South America, North America. It's just absolutely vast. And yet you're right. I mean, Tesla have just got two models. I'm not saying it's easy. I mean, Ford fell down this rabbit hole of producing a world car for things like the Mondeo
Yeah.
and what have you, and that didn't really turn out very well either. But it is a bizarre situation where they've got so many cars and yet they can't make any money from them, or very little money, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. So that's the news, and it is an evolving story. I think effectively at the moment, Volkswagen doesn't quite know what it's going to do, but I think that the headline is that it's going to be doing something drastic in the near future, in terms of cutting its model range and probably losing some jobs.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see which way they go with it. There's even talks of them potentially building their sort of Chinese developed SUVs in the factories in Germany to make up so that those factories are in full use,
Yeah.
which seems like a bit of a reversal, doesn't it? That all of
Yeah.
a sudden we're kind of anyway. So yeah, we'll have to see how that story evolves. So it's not really, as you say, I think it is a bit indicative of what a lot of the big manufacturers are experiencing at the moment. But there you go. So that's Volkswagen. And I thought we might end the news section on a bit of a brighter story, or sort of interesting story, because I had somebody come up to me recently and say, Batch isn't doing Batch Match anymore. What's
Oh.
happened? I was like, "Is he?" I was like, what have you done, Batch? Have you done a video where your trousers didn't match the video? Is this the shock news? What's happened? Have you run out of wardrobe space? Is that
Well,
what's happening?
it's very
Batch Match.
it's very lovely of that person. I'm amazed somebody actually could be bothered to actually mention it. I mean, that's very sweet of them. To the benefit of our YouTube viewers, you may think, why on earth are all these boxes around me? That's because I'm in the process of moving house at the moment. And genuinely, lots of my trousers have been packed away. So I've been quite muted recently in my colour selection. And also, I don't know, this is, but one for discussion here. I'm kind of thinking, is the Batch Match, is that done? Do I move on? Do I become a far more normal person and just wear normal clothes? I don't know. So,
but then what do you do with all your many, many spare rooms worth of colourful trousers, Batch? I don't know. Do you just sort of cycle through them in daily life? I don't know.
Well, put them on a very popular mobile trading app, beginning with V.
Auction them. Bulk buy. Batch Match trousers. I don't know. I quite like the Batch Match. I mean, very few other people bother to match their clothes to the car, do they? I think it's kind of a good thing. But
well, on the basis of that, I shall continue, Vicky. So you've got yourself to blame now. So
let me viewers decide, Batch. I mean, I am obviously one of your biggest fans, but I think you should let the fans decide. So leave us a comment. Should we carry? Should James carry on with Batch Match, or
Okay.
is Batch Match dead? Is it over? Is it over? I mean, we've got to get the board to agree first. Obviously, they might not allow that. So.
The board is me, so yes.
Okay, so anyway, we're going to move on to videos. We've got videos going out. We always got videos going out. So later this week, we've got the Mercedes C-Class electric first drive, which I'm very excited to see what that's like. So Ginny's been out driving that. I don't know when she's found time, but she has managed to get out and drive the Mercedes C-Class. So she's done that. She's also been out doing hot laps in a Denza. Again, don't know when she found time to do that, but she's done that too. So all these videos are out there, and Nick Hume has been out driving the Geely/Geely. Has anybody managed to confirm if this is Geely or Geely? Because I went to Beijing with Geely.
I think it's Geely. It's Geely, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I've always been told.
And then the CEO of Geely stood on the stage at Beijing and called it Geely, and then now everybody's confused. Anyway, we'll call it Geely.
Well,
EX2.
On that point, I seem to remember a Geely advert that must have been fairly recently. It was a TV advert that said Geely with a G. I think that's what it said. It said that was their marketing strapline. Their marketing strapline is Geely with a G, I thought, but hey, who knows?
And we've got more. So Nick's also been out in the Volkswagen ID Cross, which so that's out there. It's live and it's ready to watch. And can I encourage you to go and watch it, because I think it might be the funniest video we've ever put on Electrifying. It's so funny. I love it. It's very good. And I won't give you any more teasers, but it does involve a duvet. So go and watch the Volkswagen ID Cross video, because it's very funny. And while you're there, there'll be a Range Rover Sport prototype drive as well, which should be really interesting, because I'm keen to see where JLR is going as well. So yeah, loads of stuff to watch on the channel. In the meantime, Batch, we've got some bargains of the week, because we are already at half an hour and we've not even done the bargains yet. Right, come on, what are the bargains?
Right, okay, well, do you fancy a Renault 5 for under £280 a month? Because I certainly do. To be specific, £278 per month with 6 months down. I think that's a great option. I mean, the Renault 5 has been competitively priced for quite a while now, but it seems like it's getting a little bit cheaper of late. So that's definitely one to check out if you want a brilliant small electric hatchback. And then in terms of used, we have spotted on our Electrifying used cars platform a mini electric for just over £10,000, 10,250 to be precise. And this is for a 2021 mini electric with the 32.6 kilowatt hour battery, WLTP range of 143 miles. It seems like the previous owners have really enjoyed this car, because in the space of 5 years, they've notched up 60,000 miles on it, which just goes to show you, doesn't it, what a great little car the Mini Electric is. And I think for that kind of money, that is a great first car, or it's a great kind of run around, perhaps just a car to, take you backwards and forwards from the shops or to the train station. Don't be scared of that high mileage. Really, I mean, all you need to do is just get a battery check, and that should allay any fears, really. But for that kind of money, that's a great second car, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I looked at, I actually saw this, and I looked at Honda E's, they're a bit more expensive. So they're sort of £3,000 or £4,000 more for a Honda. And I love the Honda E. But I mean, I just think that these little fun, small capacity EVs, the Mini Electric was fantastic to drive.
Yeah.
Really good fun and very efficient. And you can see these guys have obviously done a lot, despite it being a low WLTP of 143. If you've got, like as we mentioned earlier, if you've got the luxury of home charging and you plug it in every night, that's still a lot of miles that you can rack up.
Yeah.
So yeah, discount it. I really like that car. I think we sort of forget Mini sometimes, don't we? It's another brand that we can overlook sometimes, but I like that car a lot. So I think that's a good used buy. Okay. Excuse me. So we are on to, so instead of EV virgins this week, I thought I would, we've got an EV veteran, sort of.
Ah,
So Nicholas Dyer emailed us in, I know. He says, "Hi all, electrifying. In response to Ginny's comments when reviewing the Zeekr 7 GT, I appreciate that many drivers are comfortable with an electric vehicle offering a range of 200 to 300 miles, with the option to top up while travelling. However, my wife and I, and I'm sure many thousands of other electric car owners, would ideally prefer a vehicle with a battery range of approximately 600 miles. For us, this would enable greater use of home charging rather than relying on public charging, which is obviously more expensive. We currently own a Kia Niro 2, which is our sixth Kia of the past 16 years, and our first fully electric vehicle. So do we call that, is that an EV virgin or an EV veteran? I suppose that's probably
veteran,
an EV veteran. I've
I
already
think.
got it.
Yeah,
Last
veteran.
month, we travelled 928 miles. There you go, using 241.3 kilowatt hours, averaging 3.85 miles per kilowatt hour at a total cost of £13.25. Get in. Very nice.
Wow.
Right, thank you for that email, Nicholas.
Yeah, it's nice to yeah, it's nice to hear, isn't it? People who are really properly, I know most of our listeners are, use EVs properly every single day. Of course they do, but it is nice to actually hear some of you who have, really embraced the electric lifestyle and are properly using their cars. So yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
nice to hear receive a few more emails like that. So do get in touch.
It's interesting, isn't it? So I think this is also referencing, so Ginny, and I've also mentioned it in a few times in videos, that I think we're at a bit of a tipping point now, where we're wondering, does the consumer start to prioritise charging speed over range now, because the infrastructure is getting better. We're now at a point where obviously cars like the iX3 and the EX60, and not forgetting the DS number 7, are making high, 450 to 500 miles is a lot of WLTP range. You're gonna get a lot of use out of that. Do we need more?
Yes.
That's the question. Do we really need more than that? Is it really justifiable to have an even bigger battery? I would personally favour better efficiency rather than ever bigger capacity. I think that's the point of it being an environmental prospect, isn't it? An EV.
Yeah.
I don't really think that 120, 130 kilowatt hours of battery is terribly environmental. But I also absolutely see the appeal of long range EVs. I would want a longer range EV for my lifestyle, even though I have a home charger. I want my sweet spot is 250 miles of real world range.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah.
If I've got that, then I'm fine. I don't need to public charge very often. So that's kind of what works for me. But I think that's, again, let us know in the comments. Do you think we're getting to a point where charging is becoming more of a crucial point than range? Are we moving away from range being the be all and end all? Don't know. There you go. But Nicholas obviously thinks range still is the big thing. So there you go.
Yeah.
Right. Batch, have we got a reader question of the week?
We do. And this comes in from Adam, who says, I was wondering if you might do a test on the effect of car colour on an EV range. Sounds silly, but hear me out. Dark colours absorb heat, and EVs run better when the battery is warm. But would the negative impact be the extra use of aircon? I think it would make an excellent YouTube experiment. And for this, he suggests that we'd use the same model EV, black versus white, charge both to 100%, park side by side in hot sunshine for X number of hours, and drive the identical route with the climate control set to 21 degrees. I've never thought of doing that before, Adam, but that's something to mull over, don't you think so, Vicky?
I think so. It's an interesting concept. If I'm honest, I think that the differences would be so incremental that you wouldn't even really notice them. If I'm being honest, I don't really think it would. But obviously, colour does make a difference. And what I wonder, I've thought my sort of mind has wandered more towards panoramic roofs and how much of a difference they make in terms of the car having to work harder potentially to cool the cabin down if the panoramic roof is also not insulating the car as well, potentially. So you've kind of got more loss, or aircon loss. So I've wondered about that before. But it is an interesting question that I've never really considered. I don't know whether it would make such a big difference, but I don't know. Maybe there's even some kind of maybe there's some engineers out there who know a bit more about this than we do. But it's a good idea for a test, so I think we should think about that one. But yeah, colours of car. I mean, to my mind, the important thing is just to go for a nice bright colour. I'm bored of silver and black cars. Bring on the kind of R-baths and the kind of like the fun bright colours. We want more of those.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to do fly through a few comments because we are rapidly running towards the usual kilowatt 45 minutes as we normally manage to do. Okay, so comments. Nissan Aria review, facelifted Aria, that went out recently. Lucas did that one. We got a lot of comments, as we always do, about loving Lucas's presentation, chiefly his voice. So at Motorcycle Man, dude is pleasant to listen to. At Ricky Newton 7313, so easy to listen to this man, very engaging. At Magnus Maxims, when did Nico get into car reviews? Do you know who Nico is, Batch? You don't?
No, when I hear Nico, I think of Nico Rosberg, the former Formula One driver.
Well,
I don't think he's made an appearance in any of our videos yet, so no.
I don't think that Electrifying's budget runs to Nico Rosberg, does it? No. Probably not.
No.
Anyway. I don't know, but apparently he reminds a lot of people of Nico, whoever that is. So we'll get on and we'll have to become much cooler and much more kind of on it with kind of the cool people. Yes, because I've got no idea.
No.
Anyway, let us know in the
comments. We had a Goodwood. We had our Goodwood roundup video that went out on Thursday evening of the show, which was pretty extraordinary. So well done to everybody involved in doing that. It generated a lot of comments. Just three, which I wanted to focus on, was from Mark Dodd 3879, who said, "Oh, scampi fries. Imagine my joy when I found them on a certain popular internet shopping site a few years back, and you can get them with a certain pork-based equivalent in a dual combo. Beer, classic pub snacks, and Goodwood. Is there anything better?" If you're a little bit perplexed by Mark's comment there, he's talking, of course, please do go and watch our video, but he's specifically referencing the pub that Mini decided to build on their stand. It was called the Aceman Arms, and they were serving beer all weekend, and you could get some traditional snacks such as scampi fries. So that is what Mark is referencing there, just for clarification.
Oh, are you a scampi fries fan, Bat?
Pardon?
Do you like scampi fries? Do you like scampi fries?
I love scampi fries. Yeah, I don't quite know where to go with that, actually, but I love scampi fries and the bacon ones as well.
It's a good childhood memory. I remember loving them when I was a child, but I have to say now, I don't know whether I'd be. I mean, I don't know.
Well, they give you dreadful breath. That's the problem with scampi fries.
Yes, I remember that. You'd eat scampi fries and you could like taste your breath like a day afterwards.
Oh, no.
The joys of the 90s. Anyway, sorry, Batch, I interrupted.
It's okay.
Carry on.
Ashley D said that MG Go is stunning. They need to do something to make the MG badge look a bit prettier, though. Of course, the MG Go was one of the concept cars that MG revealed at Goodwood. Do go and check out our video to see the MG Go. And then the Norville 2 said, love the MG, grew up difficult for me to say, grew up with them and had a couple MGB and 2 MG Metro turbos. The Norville 2, I think you and I perhaps need to get in touch with each other because it sounds like we've both got a love of old MGs. So that's great to see.
Yeah, so I think that sort of pretty much concludes it. So I would say if you want to know a lot more about Goodwood, there's also a podcast already about that. There's the video, there's loads of stuff on the site. There's all of the Goodwood Roundup stuff. And yeah, you can see loads of videos out there on the YouTube channel. But yes, I was going to ask you about your MG, Batch, actually, without wanting to drag this into the classic car territory. I'm assuming you're still enjoying your MG?
I am, yes, although I've just recently had a bill that far exceeded the car's value. So anybody with old cars will understand the pain of that. But I refused to send it to the scrapyard. I paid the bill, and it's now in perfect working condition.
What did you think of the MG Go? Because I did see that. I did a tech day about it. I think it's really good. I'm really, really impressed with it. I think I've done a fantastic job on that.
Yeah, it's a few interesting design cues to other cars, I thought. But I thought it looked absolutely tremendous. I was less convinced, and I'm sorry, MG, but I was less convinced by that cyber sort of coupe SUV offering. But the MG Go, I think that's the kind of thing that MG need to be kind of focusing on. Some of those more emotive products. They're very good at the value for money electric SUVs, and we applaud that. That's brilliant. but a few more emotive cars in the same vein as the Cyberster, I think, is needed.
Absolutely. Fair enough. Well, yeah, I was impressed with MG. I loved Goodwood. And yeah, we've now got lots of other stuff going on. So check it all out on the website. Thank you for listening. And I suppose this is probably the time where we should say goodbye. So yeah, bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.